We have right-wingers who are mad about Fox News. So let's do a Styx video. Styx back in the disgusting bathrobe has a video about Fox News. People on the far right have been turning their back on Fox News because, of course, Fox News, shockingly enough, has not been like just towing the party line of like, oh my god, there's fraud. They've been dancing along with it a little bit, where they're like, okay, there's no evidence of fraud, but maybe. But they have, they've at least done their due diligence on the actual news programs and saying there's no evidence of this, even though they do keep covering it for some reason. But of course, then you have, your Tucker Carlsons and people like that who are on in the evening who do fully push the party line or whatever. But like, either way, there's sort of a civil war brewing on the right, and they really, 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 really hate Fox News right now because they're admitting the reality that Joe Biden was elected the president. So let's see what Styx has to say about it.
All right, everyone. It's always funny to me when people talk about Fox News being conservative, principled. They talk about the mainstream media on their network, even though they are part of the lamestream media. It's funny because Trump has started.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect to me that Fox News cultivated, indoctrinated, and created an entire group of extremist right-wingers willing to call anything they disagree with fake news, and then they're surprised when that gets turned around on them. Like, you did this. It's the Frankenstein problem. They created their own worst enemy. And I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it again. This story better end with Rupert Murdoch chasing Donald Trump into the Arctic, where they'll both face their demise. It's so perfect that Rupert Murdoch and his shitty news organization is facing some sort of reciprocity for the amount of toxic bile that they've spewed out and radicalized so many boomers. It's so funny.
Started to use that term, but I wish I could get him just once to use the term legacy media. Some staffer needs to remind him that that's a very good mimetic term. It'd be hilarious and build lots and lots of camaraderie with the clankers, by the way. But I love watching Fox News suffer in the ratings because they've completely tanked. And by the way, actually, apparently, which is, I think it's AB.
Here's the scary thing, though, guys. Fox News ratings have tanked since they called the election for Joe Biden because a bunch of right-wingers want to live in their delusional fiction world where somehow Donald Trump won the election, even though he didn't. He lost it. But, like, it's not just that they're turning off, news altogether. I mean, they are, in the sense that they're not getting any news. But they'll turn on, like, propaganda places like OWN or, like, Newsmax. And that's not good either, guys. They're even worse. They're going to push these people even further to the right. Killjoy102. I feel these people think that because in their mind CNN plus MSNBC are liberal Democrat leaning, that Fox needs to be the conservative Republican one that needs to toe the line, not realizing that neither CNN nor MSNBC doesn't just do propaganda most of the time and being mad at Fox when they don't. Corporate media obviously has a slant and we all recognize that, but like that slant is toward being very, very pro-capitalist, right? Because these networks are owned by giant mega corporations that benefit from sort of laissez-faire capitalism. Not always the case. MSNBC can lean left as far as, a mainstream Democrat might. Like Joe Biden left, where it's like, oh, we support gay people, but like, we're not going to raise taxes on the rich. You know what I mean? That kind of social left. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's media that is made for the benefit of those that produce the media, not for those who view it. I don't know. Am I talking about the Oprah Winfrey Network? No. It's OAN, I think, is the acronym for it. One America News. They're real bad.
CNN's parent company, they're looking.
How is not being bigoted a leftist thing? Because the bar's real low, guys. That's why. The bar's been put historically low.
Looking to the possibility of selling off CNN because they've got problems too of this kind. The legacy media, for months, has refused to tell people what's actually going on. Now, really, they've been doing this for very many years. Way back in the Bush era.
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. It's funny when people say CNN is simping for Democrats. They simp for the rich and powerful. Seriously, go look at CNN Brazil. In Brazil, they simp for Bolsonaro and the far right. Yeah. CNN is always chasing sensationalism so they can, like, get eyeballs on their stuff so they can sell advertising. That's, like, their entire thing.
Fox was already spilling out pro-war propaganda. During the Obama era, you had explicitly, like, marching orders being taken for CNN and groups. In the 2016 election, you'll remember that the Podesta emails, when they were dumped, they showed that the Clinton campaign openly coordinated with MSNBC to squish out negative news pieces that were questioning, I think it was Hillary Clinton's health at the time. So you've had this going on for a while, and it's like when CNN said, don't read the WikiLeaks releases, it's illegal, just let us read them and analyze them for you. It's blatant propaganda. It's blatantly false. Fox, though, in my mind, is actually the worst of them all, and has been. I've literally, at home in Rutland, I've still got a sticker on the window of what's now my office there, and the cat's itching herself, that says turn off Fox. That's from back when I was a liberal, by the way. I think that was 2006, maybe? 2007 or something?
I find it very hard to believe that bathrobe Nazi himself, Sticks and Hammer, was ever a liberal. I find that highly questionable.
Pro-war propaganda. They were basically taking marching orders from the Bushites. And the Bushites and the Clintonians and all these people did the same thing. Don't think that the letter after a person's name really fundamentally means anything. So John Kasich will act like a Democrat, Mitt Romney will act like a Democrat, and Biden has acted...
I would love to hear how Mitt Romney has ever acted like a Democrat. Ugh. Anything not being explicitly loyal to the president, even though he's a big piece of shit, is apparently Democratic.
Consistently more like an evangelical Republican at times in the past. He's still obsessed with his Catholic faith now, as long as it'll get him more votes. But I think Fox is the worst, and here's why. Because it's the only one that pretends not to be part of the mainstream.
Fed Coda, thanks for following. Despite the fact that
until the latest ratings period, it was the largest of the cable news networks. And of course, as we see with Cavuto there and others squishing out tales of election fraud, or trying to spin stories with regards to Orange Man bad, or simply not...
Orange Man is bad, but more importantly, Orange Man is sad.
Not telling people that they call Arizona days before it officially sort of gets clinched, and even now is slightly up in the air, I would argue, a pending SCOTUS decision potentially.
They're still like, please, Supreme Court, steal this election for us. It's pathetic. Guys, you lost. Get over it. God.
From stem to stern, everything Fox does is a bunch of lies.
Not simping for Nate Silver, but if you think Fox is really hurting compared to OWN, and there's a link to a Nate Silver tweet. Let me take a look. There's a lot of attention on this platform to OWN or Newsmax overtaking Fox News as a go-to place for MAGA conservatives, but if you look at Google searches, while interest in these sources is up a bit, it's still far dwarfed by Fox News. Let's take a look. Yeah, sure. That's not that surprising. I still think it's a problem that even let's say it's 5%, okay? Let's say 5% of your typical Fox News viewer decides, I'm done with Fox News, I'm going to One American News or Newsmax, okay? That's 5% of the Republican base that is, like, going far right over the next 4 years if they genuinely stick to that. Because Newsmax and One American News Network aren't just right-wing, they're, like, fascist, right? It's not good. So, don't want that. I don't want that. Here's the situation in which I want that. Let's say Trump decides to run for 2024, which he has signaled he wants to do. Let's say he doesn't win the Republican primary, or is somehow, excluded from the process, and he decides to run third party, and he siphons a bunch of votes from the Republicans. That's fine then. That'd be great. But other than that, no thank you. The more people, or the fewer people watching One America News, the better. That place is a trash heap. We should cover some of their stuff sometime. It's wild. If you've never seen like a One America News Network segment, it is bonkers how blatantly propagandistic it is. It's crazy.
And it's been happening for a long time. I remember there was this one picture from way back when. It was like 2009 or something. Like when I first got onto 4chan, Bill O'Reilly was talking about it, saying, "Oh, this far left website, which is trying to enable pedophiles or something like that." Far left in context of 4chan at the time was laughable and still is. Oh, it's like the most hilarious thing ever, because now I think it's supposedly like the home of the alt-right or something. Like, I guess it's Proud Boys Incorporated. So according
I go on 4chan just to check out what people on the right, crazy right, are doing, or at least, like, what shit posters who are Nazis, ironically, but it's not ironically, to see what they're talking about. Yeah, 4chan is a very stupid place. On 4chan, I'll pull up 4chan on my phone, and we can take a look at some of the stuff. I'm not going to put it on screen for obvious reasons, but I'll tell you what's going on 4chan. Mitchell Drummer with 20 bits. Can we watch a sample of One America News quick? Sure, in a sec. Let me pull up 4chan, and then I'll let you know. Doon, where is Poll? I'm going to Poll, which is their politics board. Like, one of the top, let me see, the fourth highest thread in Poll right now is President Trump general thread. How is it going to happen? And then it's a bunch of links and people talking about Donald Trump winning the election somehow still. There's a post of Donald Trump. Hold on. There's a post of Donald Trump, with winning every single state except for the District of Columbia, which of course isn't a state, but it does have electoral votes. It's ridiculous, guys. 4chan's so fucking funny, and not in like the way they're intending. It's pathetically funny. And then there's a bunch. Oh look, an entire thread about Nazism. Hooray! Oh look, a thread about how they think homosexuality is a disease, and it's a picture of a Pepe the Frog in a brown shirt uniform and a Nazi swastika hanging a LGBTQ individual. Guys, 4chan's bad. You ever been to 4chan? Don't. Not good. Anyway. Someone wanted a One America News Network clip. They have a YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find anything worthwhile. 9 hours, 8 hours. I'm trying to find, maybe on Twitter. Twitter might be able to find something interesting. Meanwhile, on OWN, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Something like this.
We're looking at the latest, most up-to-date tally of electoral votes in the 2020 presidential race. We here at One America News are the only ones providing truthful, accurate numbers, as we believe President Trump, as you can see, still has a chance of winning. We're looking.
This is not from a week ago, guys. This is from today, okay?
I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know really. Oh, they're at.
Ridiculous. I'm trying to find something that's a good, like, standalone. Sure, fine. Trump launches another lawsuit in Michigan. Here's an example of, like, what One America News Network is like.
The Trump campaign files another lawsuit in Michigan in the latest challenge to the state's election results. The complaint filed earlier today against Wayne County, which includes Detroit, and Michigan's Secretary of State, cites dozens of sworn affidavits from witnesses. The Trump campaign says ineligible ballots were counted in the state because Republican poll watchers were blocked from viewing the process.
None of this
Witnesses
is true,
noted
by the
that
way.
they saw batches of the same ballots being counted multiple times, late ballots being counted and predated, and ballots being accepted after the deadline.
This case got thrown out, I'm pretty sure. This or it was another one with similar claims. I'm not sure.
The lawsuit also accuses Wayne
It has been thrown out. All right, there's a link in the chat if anyone wants to see the article about it getting thrown out.
County of using faulty ballot tabulators that miscounted Trump votes for Biden. One America's White House correspondent Chanel Rion reports.
Listening to the other networks, a Biden-Harris presidency is a foregone conclusion. But the Trump campaign holds its
That's because Joe Biden won the election. Weird how that works.
ground, saying the law's on their side. Their latest major filing was in Michigan late Tuesday. The Trump campaign says they have a strong case. According to Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani, Michigan is very much in play. So just how many ballots would be affected should Team Trump prevail?
Well, I would say bare minimum 300,000 to 400,000.
Based on what?
Giuliani says the affidavits, pictures, and evidence
He just has to pick a ridiculously large number because he's behind in Michigan by 150,000 votes.
collected for the Michigan case are powerful, laying out a clear picture of how
Let me double check. Yes, it does appear Joe Biden has won the election.
an entire state was stolen by crooked Democrats.
And there's actually there's one group of just 100,000 that were just concocted, drafted up that night, Biden votes that were all counted after the Republicans left. What they didn't count on is a couple of people stayed behind and have given us affidavits. About 4 o'clock in the morning, cars pulled up with out-of-plate license plates, and ballots were brought in the back door.
They just peddle, like any lie Giuliani comes out with, they'll just play it and they don't question anything. They don't question his legitimacy or the reasons he's saying this. They don't ask for evidence. They just play it. It's ridiculous.
They see the ballots over and kind of discreetly look, and it's a
You get it. One American News Network and Newsmax and shit, they're just they're just media arms of the Trump campaign at this point. It's ridiculous.
To CNN and Fox and stuff. And then Bill O'Reilly, of course, had his Me Too moment in like 2015, and now he got sacked. Now he has a shitty podcast. Now he has a shitty show on YouTube, which I think has fewer viewers than I have. It's very funny to see the mighty fall. But Fox News is falling. And they deserve it, to tell the truth. Good riddance. It's propaganda. It's just like any other network. I love it when people say, well, I hate the mainstream media. I watch Fox. I hate...
She's 15 She's 15, she's too old for you. Yes, I also saw Borat too. Tucker White with 20 bits. Wait a minute, I thought the poll watchers were kept out, yet Rudy says there were poll watchers there. If this were a film, this would be a massive plot hole.
hate the mainstream
Yeah, they're not remaining consistent in their messaging.
media. Neil
What's my opinion on CNS News? My conservative friends frequently post articles and threads from them and they seem sus. I'm not familiar with them.
Cavuto is my man. I hate mainstream networks, but Tucker Carlson is totally different. Yeah, he gets 8 figures for multinationalists and clearly squishes out stories that they don't want him to talk about. But trust me, just trust the plan. He knows what's going on. No, he doesn't. And even if he does, he's still muzzled. That's the way that it works in these networks. Money tends to corrupt things. That's why I like getting money from multiple people as opposed to having like a corporate sponsorship or something. I think that over time will corrupt creators as well. No matter how independent they are at the outset. You think that the pundits that are on Fox or CNN stuff, they started out in Fox and CNN? No, by and large, they started out in local affiliates. They went to journalism school, they got a local gig, maybe they were in radio, maybe they had their own independent thing going on, maybe they were a web personality. Some cases, they opened a website, they did something novel, something intriguing, and then somebody, some dude in a suit, really nice suit with a cigar, offers him one, says, hey, you know, I can make you
He's
6
so
figures
close
to
to
start
figuring
with
it
a
out.
7-figure
He's
sign-on
very
bonus.
far away from
and
figuring
this
it out.
person is, you know, used to clearing $40K a year with their radio show or something. Don't you think they jump at that offer 9 times out of 10? The problem is then they start living like they're a millionaire, because they are. And then they get used to that budget. And then when it gets down to it, most people are not willing to hold back their spending. And this becomes a problem, especially if you have to live like the high-rise penthouse style life because you are a heavy hitter at CNN or something. You have a lot of overhead.
Snowstorm the Fox.
The
Thanks
fact
for
that you might
following.
have a 7-8 figure salary doesn't really matter. So Tucker Carlson being rich, well, he's going to live like it.
Does the magnifying stuff work on my glasses? Hold on. The goggles you can't really see through very well. But, like, these things, I mean, they are lenses, so they do work. But, like, hold on, I'm trying to find the clip part, because they clip on. Like, yeah, they're lenses. You can use them as a magnifying glass.
Hopefully he's squirreling away a lot of money, but there's a lifestyle he's accustomed to because of where he has to live and who he mills about with. And the same thing happens. These multinational firms, by the way, that own these corporations, whether it's Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, CNBC, all these, they're owned by multinationalists that don't have any specific loyalty in the U.S. Foreign firms. Do you think that all of the firms that operate in the UK are owned by British? Do you think that all Russian media firms are inevitably solely owned by Russians? Probably the only real exception would be like China, because in order to be state, you have to have licensing from the state in China, and they're definitely going to prefer their own state-run media. The independent journalism that exists there is pretty scant.
Styx is literally just describing how multinational capitalism taints the messages of corporate media accurately. Yes. Those things do affect that. Your answer is not to go and, like, subscribe to OWN or to, like, whatever other right-wing news source, because if they're for profit, then they're subject to the exact same market forces that Fox News is. Like, if OWN or if Newsmax or any of these companies that does, right-wing propaganda, if any of these became as popular as Fox News or as profitable, they'd just become another Fox News. It's like that episode of South Park, and I hate citing South Park, but remember the episode of South Park where the Walmart comes to town and it, like, destroys everything, and then they destroy the Walmart, and they're like, we'll go to a small mom and pop store, and then the montage at the end is they go to the mom and pop store, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it in and of itself becomes like a Walmart. It's so big and such a conglomerate. Like, this is the problem. It's not necessarily actors within a system that are the problem. It is the system, right? People are going to take advantage of whatever system that they currently exist in, so you need to tailor a system that doesn't allow people to be taken advantage of or to be taken in by said system to commit immoral acts, up to and including slanting news in such a way as to be misleading. Like, it's frustrating to me that he's close, but he's like a mile away at the same time. Tanthier, thank you for subscribing with a 6-month streak. Tucker White 94, going back to my earlier point about CNN Brazil, capitalist media will simp for the rich and powerful, even to the detriment of the citizens of that country. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not been very focused today. I apologize.
Other than a few countries, most nations have multinational corporate media outlets. CNN runs in Europe. Keep that in mind. Doesn't Fox run in Australia? They have their own. They have their upside down news networks. the kangaroo news, the koala news. Anyway, the Tarantula Times would come to mind actually for Australians. I like watching Fox suffer because they deserve it.
Lil Speth,
it's funny when like, sometimes when I post usually on Twitter when I'm trolling liberals, they're like, "Oh, well, you're ignorant. You just watch Fox News all day." I do. That's funny. I thought that I reamed them repeatedly. I think I talk more smack about Fox News than
Being further to the right than Fox News isn't a badge of honor. It's a sign that says, I'm stupid. Please be careful when talking to me.
the average leftist
Or you could just wear a bathrobe all the time and people would get the same message.
does. And not without good reason. They're the worst. Because they fool people who otherwise might be kind of aware of the dangers of leftism into this milquetoast, very bland conservatism in name only. That's about all. Peace out.
Jesus Christ. Styx. What is with him wearing this robe so often lately? Sticks, stop it. Please stop. Put a shirt on.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Moving on. Tucker White 94, a 20-bit snobbish laugh. Upside down news. Silly Sticks. Everyone knows the earth is flat. David, whatever the fuck his name is, said so. What else do we have? Okay. How long is this? 8 minutes? This one's 11 minutes. Okay, let's do this one. So here we have another guy. This is Josiah Rises. I've covered him 1 or 2 times before, not super often. But he has a new video called Trump Plans to Destroy Fox News with his own media company. So once again, we have more right-wing infighting where they're starting to get mad at Fox News. I honestly think this is starting... They're still outwardly in the denial phase. They're still not admitting that Joe Biden won the election, but I think they're starting to slip into anger a little bit, right? And I think this is where them, like, coming at Fox News and being mad at them is starting to come from. The anger phase. You know? They're mad that Fox News has, at least for once, brought truth to the table in regard to saying, yeah, Joe Biden won the election, and they're mad about it. So all this acting up against Fox News, well, I think it's probably temporary, and they'll be back to sucking Fox News's, let's just call it their Carlson, very soon. I think they will be mad at him for a little bit, because they got to direct their anger somewhere. So let's see what he has to say.
Fox News has been turning into a glorious train wreck over the past week, ever since they have pretty much exposed themselves as being fakes, being hacks, being nothing more than just a watered-down version of CNN, especially...
Why won't Fox News lie to me like One America News and Newsmax will? Daddy Fox News, why won't you tell me that Daddy Trump won? Because he didn't. It's because he lost the election, guys. Fox are hacks for tons of reasons. This one ain't it.
Over this past week with everything going on during the election. And now we have some really good news today, because where one bad, terrible thing falls and dies, a glorious phoenix rises in its place. And that seems to be...
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Let's be honest, Trump's probably gonna F off to one of Epstein's Pacific Islands to live out his remaining days. I don't know about that. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's just gonna go, you know, to his penthouse somewhere and angrily tweet for the rest of his life.
What is going...
He'll probably still have campaign rallies because it makes him feel good, and that'll be interesting. Guys, Trump already said he wants to run in 2024. He's gonna continue doing rallies. You know that, right? Like, regardless of whether or not he actually runs in 2024, in January, he's going to be doing rallies. I guarantee it, because he needs to have people around him applauding him constantly. And the loss from this election is making him, like, he just can't handle it. I guarantee in January, February, he's going to be back at some rally somewhere. And there's going to be plenty of crazy Trumpers who are going to be there, and it's going to be amazing. And over the course of the year or two, I feel like the rallies will maybe start to get fewer and fewer people in them. It'll be interesting. Title Bell with 20 bits. How do you think Trump's response to the Supreme Court declines to take the Pennsylvania case? I think his response is going to be very negative. I think he's going to be very mad.
Going to be happening here, because we are getting reports that President Trump is eyeing launching a media empire post-presidency to wreck Fox. This is very interesting stuff, because, you know, Fox, I've never liked Fox, okay? I've never been a fan of Fox. I've always...
Tiger White 94 with 20 bits. I'm wondering if the GAWP will pull a DNC and screw him over in the primaries for corporate drone number 12 or Jeb Bush. I don't know. We'll see.
Was kind of thought of them as just another branch of the mainstream media tree, which, you know, is never a good thing. The mainstream media is just terrible, okay? If you're still listening to the mainstream media at this point, then I suggest that you probably rethink your life a little bit. But With that being said, what we have here is we have President Trump thinking about launching his own media site, his own...
I don't think that would go well. I'm just gonna put that out there. Donald Trump couldn't even make a profitable casino. Don't get me wrong, there's a pretty large built-in user base of people who would watch a Trump news network, but I don't know if it's enough or consistent enough to get views, and views, more importantly, that would be desirable eyeballs for advertisers. Fox News already makes their money off of, like, weird, like, Trumpy Bear commercials, you know, limited edition gold-plated coins, you know, survival stuff, brain pills, you know, a lot of that kind of stuff. Trump's news network would have an even bigger trouble finding advertisers. So can they support an actual news network, even one, let's say it's on the internet? Can they support the salaries of all the people writing, producing, and reading out the news on Trump News Network while shilling for, like, Brain Force and other stuff? I don't know if they'd be able to make a profit. I really don't. Who knows, though? Maybe they'll get some shady Russian backers to pump money into the thing. Who knows?
Media empire, which would be...
Trumpy Bear is real? Yeah, Trumpy Bear is real, guys.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Did you think Trumpy Bear was a parody? It's not. He's real.
You know what?
Oh, that's not what I want. Trumpy Bear. Mitchell Drummer, 20 bits. My parents bought those stupid Trump coins and I want to throw them away. My dad, when George W. Bush was in office, bought me a silver dollar with George W. Bush on it. It was like painted. It was bad.
The wind whispered through the forest. A storm is coming. You cannot defeat the storm. From the trees rose a resounding voice. I fear nothing. I come when the trumpet sounds. I am the storm, the great American grizzly. Introducing the original Trumpy Bear.
Someone send me a Trumpy Bear, okay? I want a Trumpy Bear for Christmas. Someone get me one of the last remaining Trumpy Bears or else I'm gonna be so disappointed.
The fearless super...
Again, yes, remember, this is not a parody. This is a real product that right-wingers have bought. I saw some at a rally. Like, there was a video and someone had theirs and they were, like, holding it up. Tiger White 94, I'm so tired of waiting. I'm just gonna cheat and mark the spaces needed for bingo.
Plush American Grizzly. Trumpy Bear was born June 14th, Flag Day. Just find the secret zipper and pull out the flag blanket. Then wrap yourself in the red, white, and blue for comfort and warmth.
Boy, that sure does sound like it breaks the flag code, but I guess it's fine.
Show your patriotism and proudly display Trumpy on Flag Day and on any American holiday. Trumpy can even honor your own family heroes.
God bless America, and God bless Trumpy Bear.
Trumpy Bear sits proudly at the front of the motorcycle for all the world to see and loves to cruise with his brother.
I'm a former Marine, and I'm proud to have Trumpy Bear ride by my side. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Everyone knows Trumpy Bear loves to go to the golf course.
When I ride with Trumpy Bear, he makes my golf game great again. Thank you, Trumpy Bear.
Simply style his trademark hair and place him in his favorite chair. Even the toughest guys will love Trumpy Bear.
It's not a parody, Tucker. I'm telling you, it's real.
When America is great, business is great. When business is great, I am great. I love you, Trumpy Bear.
I am an Army veteran. I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Order the Super Plush Trumpy Bear for only 2 payments of $19.95.
$40!
And receive a special certificate of authenticity.
You don't want to get one of those bootleg Trumpy Bears. You want the actual article, okay?
Don't miss out on owning a piece of American history. Order now for only 2 payments of $19.95. Trumpy, the most fearless bear anywhere. Order now.
Huge. It would be absolutely huge if someone who has the ability and the influence and the power, somebody like Trump to do something like this would be absolutely incredible and game-changing. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what this is all about. President Donald Trump is reportedly eyeing launching an online media company after his presidency. Trump is considering launching an online competitor to Fox News, in part to spite the network, according to sources familiar with the president's thinking. Axios reported on Thursday, Trump has increasingly criticized Fox in recent months over its coverage and then its decision to call the state of Arizona early for Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden.
Why are you mad, though? They were right. Biden won Arizona. They were right. What's the thing where they're like, why are you booing me? I'm right. It's that energy. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. We're actually supposed to take this seriously. Hannah, would you grab a pillow, put it over my face, and push down? Mitchell Drummer with 20 bits. Have a relevant meme about Fox News.
Nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Let me take a look. When you find out that Fox News isn't actually about foxes. Razor with 500 bits. Ooh, nice, thanks. Thanks for blowing my family's collective mind tonight with Trumpy Bear. Seeing this as a Canadian makes me want to send some sort of help for you folks. Oh, God. Just when if things get really bad, just tell your I don't know what your Congress people are called in Canada. Are they what do you call people in your legislature that you vote on? Whatever you call them, tell them to open Canada to refugees if things get real bad.
He plans to wreck Fox.
MPs? Okay, you call them MPs like the UK. Cool.
No doubt about it, a source told Axios. And if anybody could, it would be President Trump. The president has extensive email and cell phone lists from his 2016 and 2020 campaigns that he can use to help launch a media venture.
Hey, fun fact, if Donald Trump used any of the lists of people and their emails that he got from his campaign to send information about his network, his for-profit news network, to his followers, that's a felony. You're not allowed to do that. If you get people's information and their email, you know, for your campaign, and then you lose, and then you take that list and you use it to send marketing emails, that's a felony. You're not allowed to do that.
Trump may also use rallies late in the year, ostensibly for building support for his election legal fight with Biden, to bash Fox News to his base. And, I mean, I don't think he really even...
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. If we show Queen Elizabeth II that Trumpy Bear commercial, we might convince her to take us back because clearly independence was a mistake.
Needs to do that because Fox's views and ratings have been just completely collapsing, have been completely plummeting over this past week. I mean, I saw that they were even just desperately trying to get people to come back to watch Fox by putting on the Chiron, like, pretty much all day today, that Tucker Carlson, he's gonna be talking tonight. Sean Hannity, he's gonna be talking tonight. Don't you guys want to come back and watch that? Don't you guys want to please?
I hope they never come back. I hope Fox News gets insolvent. That'd be nice. Oh, thanks. The hat's my D&D character's hat, and we got enough of a hype train that I'm wearing it, so thank you.
Please come back and watch us. Nobody's gonna watch you again, Fox. Sorry. Your game has been exposed. Your true identity has been exposed. You are not, you know, an unbiased news source. You are not a source that...
Did you ever think Fox News was an unbiased news source? And the way that they're biased is not affecting the fact that they called the election for Joe Biden because he won the election. He won. That's not part of Fox News's bias. That's reality's bias, believe it or not.
That is, you know, fighting for conservatives or the right wing or anything like that. You've never been any of that. You've just been another version of a watered down... You're basically the rhinos of the mainstream media. That's basically what you are. So many of the members of Trump...
Altered Rin with 20 bits. Fox News right now. Galatians 4:16. Have I now become your enemy because I am telling you the truth?
Trump's target audience for a media...
Implying that anyone from Fox News has actually read the Bible is kind of funny too.
...venture are likely Fox viewers. Trump is planning to sidestep the boundaries of launching a cable network and moving straight to an online streaming subscription service. So
that's a bad idea. A lot of Trump's audience, not all, of course, we have our John Doyles, but a lot of Trump's base are boomers, and boomers don't know how to use apps. Probably not a good idea to try and create a Trump TV app.
That would
Admiral Owl, thank you for subscribing with a 4-month streak.
Be really huge if he did something like that. It really would. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. So this is what he just said, or this is what he said back in April. I don't know why this tweet is here. Let's see. Trump's digital offering would likely charge a monthly fee to MAGA fans. Many are Fox News viewers, and he'd aim to replace the network and the $5.99 a month Fox Nation streaming service, which has an 85% conversion rate from free trials to paid subscribers.
Conversion
as their top destination, Axios reports. Trump has increasingly criticized Fox's coverage of his administration, so we all know about that, obviously. So honestly, that would be good. The more competition we have out there, the better, in my opinion. I think that we should have absolutely more competition across the board when it comes to, you know, the media, when it comes to big tech, when it comes to things like YouTube. I think that competition is healthy, competition is good, and it helps, it benefits everyone in the long run. So I think that is a good thing, and I hope that he actually follows through and does this, because honestly, we need another big name source out there that is going to be able to compete with the mainstream media. There's a few out there that are doing that. We have obviously Steven Crowder, who's getting
oh no, not Steven fucking Crowder.
More views on his streams nowadays than any of these other mainstream media sites are, so he's doing very, very well. We have obviously like the Daily Wire, we have OAN. So there are sources out there, but the more sources we can get out there, I think the better. So with that,
I really don't think a Trump like streaming service news would do super great. Again, not because he doesn't have a base, because he absolutely does. And I'm sure all the young people like John Doyle who support Trump would be all over something like that. But a decent portion of his audience are boomers. Boomers who aren't going to want to figure out how to cast a streaming service from their TV to their TV or whatever. Like, I just don't see that as a winning business model for him.
That being said, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. What do you think about President Trump's plan? If President Trump actually goes through with this, then it's pretty much a rip for Fox. It will be over.
I don't think that's the case. I think if that did happen, and if he was successful, let's say the streaming thing did work and he was able to convince boomers to do that, Fox News would still do fine. They would just be the home of your more, how do I put this? Your Mitt Romney, Jeb Bush, fiscal conservative types. And then the Trump network would be more ideologically driven, right-wing culture war reactionary content. So there's theoretically a market for both things, I think. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Tucker White 94, Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire are just as corporate simping as Fox Noise. Like Fox News. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're independent in the sense that Steven Crowder is in charge of his thing and Ben Shapiro is in charge of his. But they are for-profit companies, so yeah. They certainly have their own bias, not only in terms of their obvious right-leaning slant, but even on top of that, the fact that, of course, any for-profit media, myself included, I'm for-profit, guys. I do this, you know, as a job. We're all motivated by getting people to watch. That doesn't mean I don't believe the things I'm saying. Why would I come on and lie? But it does mean that we cover things that we think will get eyeballs. Look at Jeremy. We cover the quartering a lot. He does Brie Larson videos because they get clicks. I cover Jeremy because not only is it entertaining, but also because people like when I cover Jeremy. Same thing. So you're always going to have bias in media that's being done for profit. Period. It's impossible to get rid of that unless you remove the profit motive in the first place.
For Fox. Fox will be done. The biggest Chad move that Trump could do, if he absolutely wants to completely just finish Fox once and for all, completely annihilate Fox, what he needs to do is he needs to get Tucker Carlson to go work for him at his new media site. That would
0% chance Donald Trump can match the salary that Tucker Carlson is getting paid by Fox News. Tucker Carlson, I think, is one of the highest paid TV personalities. Let me see. How much money does Tucker Carlson make? Sometimes these things are public, so we'll see. Well, that's his net worth, though. His salary, $6 million. $6 million a year to keep Tucker Carlson on your network. I don't know if Donald Trump on the internet would throw away $6 million a year for Tucker Carlson. Maybe he would, but he'd have to get some major backers because I don't think Trump is going to want to put his money on the line here. He'd have to get some major investors, maybe from other countries, in order to try and get this to work. But I guess we'll see.
Completely just collapse Fox 100%. Completely. I think there's a lot of people that only watch Fox still because of Tucker Carlson. I mean, he rakes in those numbers. He is the one that actually brings in the heavy numbers when it comes to Fox. So that would be very interesting to see what happens with all of that. So with that being said, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. What do you think about President Trump's plans here? Do you think that he should actually create something like this? More competition is better, and it's healthy for everyone. So hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe for new, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
That's kind of... Oh, man. Oh, that's so lame. Watch this. There's like 2 minutes of dead air. He literally just added in 2 extra minutes of dead air so he could have a mid-roll, so it could be just over the 8-minute mark. 8 minutes, 20 seconds. Are you even allowed to do that on YouTube? I'm pretty sure you can get in trouble for doing that, for just putting dead air in so you can, like, put mid-rolls on. You're not allowed to do that. Hi, kitty. How are you? Would you like to take the chuds away? Me too. So that's it for this guy for this week, I guess. I don't know. We don't cover him often, but